Those are so polite.
Hotel, 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 hotel.
Barry, look how big this dog is compared to this dog. Man, this girl is a heat seeker, bro. Look at the difference in the size of these two dogs. Ridiculous.
Wonder who we about to go pick up. There she is. There she go. It's all right. Yeah. Good morning. Grand Rising. It's been an interesting night. All the dogs were excited last night when some fella came in. Now they're ready to go out. Everybody. Meet Allah. She's a nice sized girl. Come here. Here we go. She's a pretty mama. She's got some interesting markings. Yeah. She's just 5 weeks old. Yep. So, all the dogs met her. They were interested anyway. Of course, Blitz was not. So, let's go ahead and get the day started. Barry with Hotel Kennels. Let's get it. This is what I deal with every morning. Every rising, these two go at it. Several times a day, in the middle of the day, at night. That's what they do. Wearing this area right here down in dirt and mud. Dozer and rock. Best buddies. It's dawn. About 6:52 a.m. As y'all saw, I got up about 6:30. We got some requests to hear more about. Let this truck go by. I live on a loud street. But I got a request to let's talk about my dogs. Try to do that as you see them. Dozer was the first dog that we had got. I talked about this before on live in earlier videos, but he came from a situation where we were in Sarasota, Florida, and we were dealing with Todd Diener over at Hurricane Bloodline, his Major League Feed store. And I guess this drug addict, this clucker, was dealing. She had a litter of puppies that had been taken from her, but somehow she got them back, and the mom. And she was trying to sell them for like, I don't know, $150 or something like that. Me being the person that I am, I'm wanting to get the puppies out of the situation. You know, they're being sold to random people. said, let me get one. So I know I'll take care of it. And Ty pointed out this guy. Right here. No papers, no registration, but they knew, they were familiar with who the daddy was supposed to be. Mom was very protective, I'd say, to say the least. And we wound up talking her down to like $80. She's obviously in desperate need to sell them and get rid of them, so she agreed. And that was 2015. So about almost 6 years ago. Those will be 6 next month. And he's been with us ever since, riding through the storm. The different places that we've lived at. Even some places that he didn't. It's you know, he's very intelligent and very trainable. He's been a really, really good dog. He's probably the smartest dog. These two are probably the smartest dogs we have. They're similar. In that way. So we were staying at Major League Feed Store. Wound up going back to my wife's mom's apartment. He was with us. And we wound up moving back to Texas when he was about 6 months old. And I needed somewhere for him to stay because they weren't going to welcome him where we were going. So I took him to our homeboy's house over in Oak Cliff over by Glendale Park, where I used to live for a couple years. And he stayed there while we tried to work out our situation in Fort Worth. So we were staying in somebody's apartment. Then we wound up going to her son's house and renting a room over there. Neither one of those situations worked out. And we wound up homeless. We were sleeping in an office building, in an office at night. And till eventually we found a trailer, somewhere that would take us all in and let us all stay there. And we stayed there for we were there for 6 months, and we were planning on doing a rent-to-own home in Oak Cliff. And basically the slumlords we were living with sabotaged that deal when we used them as a referral. And she tried to say that told them that about the rent, that we were always late, when the truth of the matter was they were always late to pick it up. I'm a veteran. I get paid disability first and third every month, so my money's never late. So we wound up staying there for 3 years, and we had to deal with all kinds of jacked up stuff, rats and falling through the floor, and it was just hell. But while we were there, I was still going and pushing my kennel and trying to grow it and accumulating dogs. Probably had up to say 14 dogs, a couple rescues. A lot of things happened there. They call them yard accidents, but basically it's when dogs get into it and they fight. And when this truck go by. And it was Blitz and a dog we had named Maybach. People would ride by and scream, rile up the yard, and next thing you know, they were fighting each other. So I had to break that up a couple times. One time I went on a trip to Miami. There was another situation while I was away on a guy's trip. My wife had to deal with it. Well, the one that happened in the yard, that's how I wound up getting the 12 stitches, because one of the rescues that I had got, they were giving away on the side of the road, was the only dog that grabbed me. Fancy, Ogun, Kitaka, Blitz, we're all jumping on Maybach. I'm trying to break it up, but this little rascal grabs me by the elbow and grabs me by my Achilles I've got a huge scar on my Achilles from that situation. Of course, I had to get a couple rabies shot because when they asked where the dog was at, I wasn't gonna say with me. But they just would have came and euthanized the dog, and a whole nother situation would have happened. It could potentially endanger my other dog. So I just kept that hush hush and went on about my business and dealt with it. And those shots hurts. When I say they hurt, that rabies shot hurts. It hurts. But I went through that pain, got my 12 stitches, and you know, I got an opportunity from Marcus at Right Stuff Kennels to help us move and get out of that situation. So he offered us a place to stay as he moved out to East Texas, and the stipulations were that I can only bring 4 dogs. So I had to rehome a lot of dogs. Fancy and Cashmere were one of them, or 2 of them, and we came out here with Dozer, Blitz, Ogun, Kitaka, and I believe Isis. Yeah, and Isis. Isis was the 5th one. Going to work out a deal. We were planning to work out a deal where I would trade Isis back to Right Stuff Kennels. Hold on, this truck go by. Where I would trade Isis back to Right Stuff Kennels because he had lost a mom. That's how I wound up with Little Man. So we wound up eventually completing that deal, but we only stayed there for a couple weeks because I had to find my own place. Things were happening with Cashmere when I rehomed her. Somehow she wound up in Carrollton and wound up at the shelter, and I had a microchip, so they contacted me. We went to go get her, and that's how the YouTube channel started. It started the first video of us getting the keys to this house, finding it, and moving Cashmere into the house before we even moved into the house. So we've been here ever since. It's been almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in March. Longer than I wanted to be here, but you know, things move how they move. Still in the process of you know, we found some land that we want. Just the whole process of being able to obtain it, having to go through that. So go back in the videos, you'll see that Cashmere had our first litter with Ogun. There was a little puppy named Tippy in that litter, which was the first puppy to leave Hotel Kennels and go to a new home. And we wound up doing a trade deal with one of the owners of the convenience store out here in Mount Pleasant, and he had a puppy, and it was him, and he was 5 months old. The puppy we had was 5 months old, and that's how we got Ra. Ra is a UKC registered as an American Pit Bull Terrier, but I will be doing a breed transfer to register him properly as an American Bully with them, and because I know better. That's how we got him. He is now almost a year and a half. He'll be a year and a half, I believe, next month. He's 17 months old, and we have him ever since. He comes from Grand Champion Weight Pull Lines. If anybody knows Miller's Pit Bulls Farms and know Greg Miller, he has a Grand Champion Weight Pull dog named Stone Cold that's now deceased. This is his grandson. Okay. So that's the story and the deal on these 2 dogs. I guess I'll get more on the story about the other dogs, I guess, as I let them out. Cashmere's already been out, so I already talked about her. Fancy, you didn't get to see her, but she's still in the house, but she's still gonna be out. You'll probably see her in a minute. I'm trying to get out early and get these dogs taken care of, because I have to be in Dallas by 12:30 because I play semi-pro football for the Dallas Bulldogs, and we've got training camp this week. So I'll probably flash that flyer at some point during this video so you can see number 86 in action. But anyway, check back here in a minute. All right, we're back, and this is Fancy. Fancy was a dog that while I was in school at KD Conservatory for acting in Dallas, one of my classmates said they had a friend in New Mexico that had some puppies. And Dozer needed a friend. And we wound up getting her about 13 weeks from New Mexico while we were living in the trailer park. And she's been with us ever since. She's now 5 years old. Her birthday's in August, at the end of August, August 25th. Dozer's is February 28th. And she is alpha female. She is the alpha bitch. She does not play. She keeps everything in order here. Energy changes when she leaves the yard or when she comes back. She doesn't take anything from anybody. She's just an alpha female. It's just her personality. So, that's Fancy. I'm going back in to go guard her bowl. Dog food. Quiet! Oh, another thing about Cashmere. Cashmere was obtained from Jurassic Park kennels. She's now, I believe, 6 years old. Guy named Nelson in McKinney. Been breeding dogs for about 40 years. Cashmere's in the house. I'm just talking about her. I don't know why y'all watch Raw. But that's how we got her. She was kenneled inside of a garage. He was going to retire. He's a truck driver. She was 5 months old at the time. And she was saying that he was showing me the dad. He showed me the aunt. And he was like, yeah, the mom is built just like her. She was like extreme. So I'm like, okay, getting an idea of how she's supposed to going to turn out. But as you can see, she did not turn out that way. She is not extreme. She is like a classic on an XL frame. She is extremely tall, long, and skinny. So I was disappointed with how she was turning out. But what I came to realize is that she has some very good traits about her. She's intelligent, she's trainable, and she is extremely athletic. She can jump. That's where all the athleticism comes from in her puppies. And King and Queen, Sheba, Haiti over at Rice Stuff Kennels. You've got Iraq and Iran over there. You've got Pompeii over there. And they all can jump. And I recently found out that Ogun can jump. He's just lazy because he jumped in the back of my truck when it was time to go try and breed him to this new female that named Athena over at Rice Stuff Kennels that he had got. Go figure, right? All it takes is the right motivation, I guess. But yeah, that's where Cashmere comes from. And the breeding between her and Ogun was experimental. And the results of that breeding are here. Here's one with Queen. All right, that's Ogun over there. And back there is King, and Sheba's in the house. So good things came from what would otherwise be culled probably by, other breeders. This little man. What's up, guy? Yeah, so that's the situation with her. I really would like to get her trained in agility, because that's how agile she is. Like, she doesn't run around things, she goes over it. Like, she'll jump over these dogs, she'll jump over those branches right there, she'll jump off the steps instead of walking down the steps, or she'll jump up them. Like, she's an athlete. So the better I get at training dogs, the better I'll be able to showcase things that they're capable of. So that's the story on Cashmere. Once these guys get done and they go back in the house, I guess I'll talk about Kitaka next. I'll probably take her out next, and you'll hear a story about her. So we'll be back. So here we are with Kitaka and Fancy, and this truck go by. The story on Kitaka is that she is a production of Right Stuff Kennels. She was supposed to be my foundation female. Everything was supposed to be built around her, and she has been having fertility issues. She's been bred several times, a couple different ways, and she has not taken not one time. So I'm going to have to take her to a reproductive specialist to see what's going on. That's going to cost about $1,000, and she is going to be 5 in May, so she's 4 years old, and everything was supposed to be built around her. Her grandfather, LoJack, Right Stuff Kennels LoJack, was the reason why I wanted to get into these dogs. They come from Chevy and Camelot and Eddington stock bloodlines, and they're weight pool dogs. She was registered, or is registered, ADBA. Cashmere's UKC. She was registered as American Pit Bull Terrier, and I got the breed transfer for her. Kitaka is a ADBA registered working pit bulldog, or as a working pit bulldog, which basically is a category more so than a breed that the ADBA made up. Not the breeders did not make this up. A registry made this up because of everything that went down with Hulk. Everybody knows that DDK9's Hulk is their cousin. All it traced back to Wanna Be a Whopper, which was done by Edgar Eddington. He used an American Bulldog cross. They let him use them for weight pull, and he wound up breeding a dog even though he wasn't supposed to. And of course, you know, all that stuff went kind of south to the point he was killed, and they still don't know who the murderer is to this day. And a couple puppies came up missing. So yeah, so when they call this the dope game on 4 legs, they're not playing, because this can get dangerous if you don't do right. And even if you are doing right, there are people out there that don't want to do right and will, you know, you could have a situation or altercation where they try to kill you for your dogs, or try to poison your dogs, or you know, there's a certain demographic that introduced these dogs. These dogs, they came from a lot of dog fighters, a lot of street dudes, a lot of, you know, dope dealers got into these dogs, and the mentality doesn't change just because they change what they're selling, you know what I'm saying? So back to the story about Kitaka. I got her with all the intentions to build a foundation around her, and it's not working out as planned. So I have other tools in my yard that I have utilized to bring other attributes and traits to my yard. A tool is basically a dog that's not complete. It may be lacking something, like with Cashmere, she's lacking breed type. So, which is basically, you know, what they refer to as substance. Personally, I feel like substance is something that's internal, not external. But they somehow decided to use that as a word, meaning if your dog has mass and girth and bone and head, it has substance. That's a whole other argument. But this is my baby right here, Kitaka. She is very protective, she's very prey driven. That's why you see her sniffing around looking for, she's onto something. But she's always intent. That's why I always walk her on a leash, because she's always intent on finding something. So she will get after something. And a recall on her, once she is turned on, it's very difficult to do. I haven't been able to do it yet. That's why I don't take her to dog parks anymore. Because people bring their little dogs over there and she sees that as prey. There's some videos on our other YouTube channel and our other pages, or Barry and Dee's World, where you can see that her and her brother are like that. They have high prey drive. This is a dog that you can not only just weight pull with, but you can also hog hunt with. She may not look it at 120 pounds, but she is athletic. She can move. She can get after something. And because she doesn't have a brachycephalic muzzle, which means short skull, she doesn't get tired. Okay? And I've seen it in action, like I talked about earlier when we were at the trailer park. And Blitz got into it with Maybach. She got involved. And I almost got wore out trying to break it up. She's on to something. She's never even done this before, so something's around. This is the dog I would take with me during an apocalypse. Or some I Am Legend type stuff. And be good, you know. She guards the fence line, the perimeter. You know, anybody comes to my yard and crosses that line, expect to get bit. She's not people aggressive. She's very friendly towards people, but she has protective instincts. She knows who's legit and who isn't. So I keep her very close to me when I bring her out. Something you need to know your dogs and be aware of what their tendencies are, what their traits are. What drives them, what doesn't. Who has high prey drive and who really doesn't have much of any. Because it's different for every dog. It's not consistent. She's definitely on to something. It's not consistent across the breed. The breed is new. It takes 40 years to get to that point. And this breed is like 16 years old. It was established in 2004 by ABKC. But the dogs existed before ABKC, so that's another argument, another debate. Because these dogs existed before anybody decided they wanted to call them American bullies. They've been big, they've been large, they've been massive, they've been had girth, head, bone. And that's why they were referred to as XL or XL pits. That's where all these terminologies come from, because people were making up terms to call them because there was no registry in place to properly identify them. But dogs being bred this way has been going on before American bullies ever came into existence. But this working pit bulldog thing is new. And when y'all say working pit bulldog, I don't mean working pit bull dog. No, it is working pit and then bulldog. So they try to be clever and word it a certain way, so if you're not reading it, you think you're saying this is a pit bull. No, this is not a pit bull. All right, dogs may come from pit bulls, but other things have been introduced. Okay, you can look at this dog and see the dog, the Bordeaux influence in this dog. Okay? If you know dogs, if you know breeds. This is her niece, this is Queen. This is her little mate brother, Ogun. Okay? You can see the dog, the Bordeaux influence in these dogs. Okay? And like I said, it traces back to want to be a Whopper, Edgar Eddington. So now you all automatically know this American Bulldog also in these XLs. Okay, that's how they got so big. You have to utilize master breeds. You have to influence them, inject them. When it comes to the blue dogs, you've got Neapolitan Mastiff. Okay, Mastiffs have been incorporated into these dogs. You can look at Ellis bloodline. I got an Ellis girl on the back. Her name is Tupio. Okay, you can see the English Mastiff influence in those dogs. The longer fur, the color, okay, the extreme size. Jack Ellis bloodline has dogs that have reached over 230 plus pounds named Kikoa, which is the grandfather size / great grandfather of my girl Tupio in the back. Okay, so if you research and study and know the history of these dogs, you will know that up to 10 plus different breeds have been used to create these dogs. Okay, all the things that I had wanted to do back in 2005. Look at you. Why are you digging? Kitaka, seriously? This is very odd behavior. It's way past your due date, so you ain't got a puppy in you. You ain't nesting. I don't know what you're doing. So anyway, there's up to 10 plus different breeds. That's why there's no consistency, because people have cheated and used different dogs to make these dogs. That's why they're all over the place. That's why there's so many different looks. That's why there's so many different classes, because different breeds were used in each class. Okay, when you come to the pockets, it's got a heavy English Bulldog influence. Okay, which probably came. Reason why the pockets today look different than the pockets from before, even though the pocket class is the last class that was created, it's actually the newest, but it has become the most popular class. XL and the Classic is probably the healthiest class. They're the most workable. Standard, there's really no issues with Standard. XL has issues with inconsistency. It's an issue with some of the health issues. Hip dysplasia. Why is somebody pulling up? I hate when people pull up. I don't care who it is. Now, before we get into it, let me provide some context. I've had people drop bottles off of Corona and thrown into my yard, and just trash, just dumped in my front yard, and I'm sick and tired of it. All right, and these are a couple of Mexicans that just pulled up and just stopped with a truck in front of my house, so I'm already immediately pissed off. Okay? You know, I'm black, I just don't like it. And of course, she's gonna go check it out. So expensive. Hey, stay up the street. Everybody's just gonna sit here like I'm not standing here. Yes. Pull off from blocking my driveway. Thank you very much. God dang, boy. Whew. These are things that I just would never do. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna stop in front of somebody's house. Just don't do it. You don't know what that person is into, bro. Where I'm from, you just don't pull up in front of somebody's house. You pull up in front of somebody's house, they coming out with a pistol, okay? And they gonna ask you what you doing here. This country is diverse and it can be a beautiful thing. But if we don't respect each other's cultural differences, we're gonna continue to have these problems that we got. all this division. Respect the differences of people's cultures, man. That's all I ask. Respect each other's cultural differences. They just sat there and act like I wasn't even there, yo. And Fancy went out in the street and she was ready to go run up on him and see who gonna get out. And they ain't have a clue because they couldn't see her little short butt. But she about that life. Best believe Fancy fears nothing. 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 She is not afraid. I think I was talking about these daggone English Bulldog influence in these pockets. If I remember correctly. When you get into these exotic and micros, which are not bullies, not American bullies, not a class in the American bully, you've got French Bulldog, Pug, you know, influence in them to get these dogs to be smaller. Yes, you can just be a runt that you utilize and get the probably original smaller dogs, but to get these other features that they were trying to get on the dogs, what in the world are you doing? This is very strange behavior for her. She never does this. This is just weird. I'm gonna have to look this up. Google. Why do dogs nest when they're not pregnant? Nest-making behavior that appears compulsive, stress-based, or pain-based is cause for concern. Bring it up with your vet. Just something I looked up when I was reading an article on Google. What are you doing, yo? So anyway, yeah. There's other breeds more so influence in the XL and pocket classes. That's why they have so much diversity in dogs. The classic and the standard. And it's a shame that the classic, I believe, has been pushed out, where they have taken the dogs that are having less bone, less mass, less girth, and completely pushed them out and somehow moved a standard into that's lacking a little bit into the classic and more the extreme into it completely removed the extreme. But it's really just confusing how much they have changed the standard and changed different things, and then criticize people that have yards built around what they had before, and now they have to completely change things up, and they're letting breeders, well, actually letting customers influence what we breed, because if the customers want certain colors, if they want more bone, more girth, more head, then breeders choose to breed for that, and that pushes the registries to say, okay, well, look, these guys want to register their dogs, so let's go ahead and allow this in. Even though at one point things were, they may be unhealthy, they may cause defects, which they did get rid of the extreme, but the amount of DQs, like the coloration with the merles, like now you're starting to see more merles being allowed when originally it was a DQ. And eventually they're probably going to allow those dogs to show. It's going to get to that point. Because there's so much money in it. The stuff is selling. So it's selling, they will compromise the integrity to allow these things to take place. There's been a lot of compromising over the years, and that's why we have such an issue with this breed not being the way it should be, I know a lot of people have tried to compare it to the Shorty Bull. The Shorty Bull has done a really good job at, successfully creating a consistent looking breed. But it's also, decades of experience behind that. There's actually videos on YouTube about the story about that. I forgot the lady's name that created the breed, but what was supposed to be done was done in order to get to that point. And the breed's older than this breed is, so you got ways to go, a lot of things to fix. And the rectified, one of the things I like about the UKC is that they have a performance standard inside of their standard, whereas the ABKC does not. It's all about it being a quote-unquote companion breed, when all dogs are companions. It's really just an excuse to just only have a show line dog as opposed to having working lines, because a lot of breeds have working lines. Show dogs have throughout history ruined breeds. Okay, if you look at the American Staffordshire Terrier, that is a show line American Pit Bull Terrier. The AKC didn't want anything to do with the American Pit Bull Terrier, so they created a different name. You know, it wasn't a breeder, it was the registry that said, look, we're going to call these dogs American Staffordshire Terriers. We're going to breed them a different way. We're not going to have so much animal aggression. We're going to have more weight on the dog, more size for the show ring. It's one of the things I was watching with Sensitive Tempo Connie Corso that also shows what I'm talking about, is that she likes her dogs to be more of a working style, leaner dog. She doesn't like her dogs to be overweight. And she just grand championed one of her dogs. And they were saying that in order for her to compete better, you're going to have to put more weight on her. So that is a show community mentality, to have weight on your dog. And now we have a lot of weight chasers in our breed with the XL American Bullies, where everything's about how much does it weigh? How much does it weigh? My dog is this much old and it weighs this much. And we are entering an era where now it's also about color. How much does it weigh? And is it a Merle? Is it a tri-Merle? You know? Things that don't matter when it comes to the dog being a great dog. They're irrelevant. You understand? Fancy just does her own thing. She's such an OG. She listens so well. When I told her to get out the street, she got out the street. I didn't have to go chasing after her. You know, I like great dogs, you know. You can attach whatever breed you want to it. You can call my dogs whatever you want to call them. You can call them a mutt. You can call them band dog. You can call them, you know, whatever. A staffy, you know, Amstaff, whatever you want to call them. The point is, it being a great dog should come first. Because you're going to get the best health and goodness and trace. You're going to put the dog first before you put it a cosmetic, aesthetic, heavy mentality onto a dog. Kitaka could be bigger than what she is. She probably could be 125, maybe 130, maybe even 135. But I don't put all that weight on them. They eat once every other day. Once every other day. Fancy eats every day because she's got stomach issues. But the dogs that need to do that, I do that with. The other dogs I don't. Kitaka's metabolism is not that high, so she gains weight easily. I live on a busy street. We're fancy at. There she is. Do not go in that street. Man, beside yourself, ain't you? Oh. I don't remember what I was saying. I lost my train of thought. But yeah, basically my point was that working ability should not be removed from any breed. We live in different times, yes, but we also have people that live the way we used to, and are getting back to that. And it's best for the dogs. The reason why dogs had a job, because that's what they were bred for. They weren't bred for us just to look at. They're not statues. They're not just supposed to be looking impressive. They're actually supposed to be impressive. Guess she went to go say hi to Tupio, her niece. She's very high energy. She paces back and forth. That's why we got the hay right there, because she just turns it in the mud. And this is King, her nephew, which is Ogun's son. Hey boy. And there he goes jumping. And he goes jumping again. You know, I wanted a dog that was more athletic and driven than Ogun is. And that's what I got with him. That was the purpose, my goal for the breeding. Still needs some work because he's not perfect. So, as a breeder, your job is to continue pushing to better the breed. I say probably the only thing with King is that he is, well, according to the breed standard, they would probably want more bone and girth on him, more head. But I like him like that. I like him how he is. He's probably about 90 pounds. You know, beautiful dog. But the only fault that I found on him is probably one you can't see, which is underbite, which comes from the dad, which comes from the grandmother, which was Kenyan. So, still working on rectifying that. And breeding that out, which could take a while. But he has less flaws than his dad has, because his dad has that plus stiff stifle, high rear, gay tail going on. Yeah. And what the thing with Ogun was acquired because the other breeding didn't survive. The mom died when she was pregnant, so I had to make a decision to get another dog from another breeding. And since it was right there, suggested that I get the male from Kitaka's litter. So I did. And if I didn't get Ogun or Cashmere, King wouldn't be here. And King's a beautiful dog. So, and Queen and Sheba are some serious athletes. You know, I know a lot of people from the American Pit Bull Terrier community would really like those two and how driven they are. They're very high energy, which I haven't got a chance to display yet. But I do have a flirt pole I want to put together and start making videos like that. But I really need this fence done. There's certain dogs I just don't want to let run around, because Queen, she takes off and she goes back in that pasture back there and runs all over the place. And you know, some dogs will stay in the yard, other dogs will just take off. And you know, with this breed and the stereotype they have, having your dogs just loose, running around all crazy, just doesn't sit well with the neighbors in the residential area. So to keep the peace and keep me left alone, I just rather have certain things in order before I start doing that. Look at Queen, she's just running back and forth, and that's her daddy. Okay. She really wanted to be out today. So as long as she had me out in a while. Yeah, that's the story behind the dogs you've seen so far. I'm getting some new acquisitions to make up for what potentially could be, devastating news after going to the reproductive specialist about Kitaka. Oh man, I just got caught on my phone. Because if she had it took, I would not need to have obtained a ala from Shaq and Haiti, which if you go back in the videos, she's from our first litter. Her name was Cutie Patootie, nicknamed Trudy. But she is the mom of that new pup ala that we have, and she's big. Shaq is 140 pounds. Haiti is 60 pounds. And as you can see, they produce some nice big puppies. So I would have just kept the female from Little Man and Kitaka's breeding instead of getting from that particular breeding. Initially, I wasn't interested in until they arrived. You can look at dogs and say, "Oh, well, that shouldn't be bred," or "I don't think nothing's gonna come from that." And people are doing those breedings and proving otherwise. So you could be right, you could be wrong. You won't know until you do the breeding, for sure. So it's kind of like a don't knock it till you try it kind of thing. She is really amped up this morning, yo. I don't know if something's in the neighborhood, something's been roaming around my yard. That's nothing I do not like about not having a fenced property. Is that any stray dog, especially in a residential neighborhood, any stray dog can come around, mark their scents all over your property. Cats, possums, that really can't be kept out by a fence, but stray dogs can pee and little dogs can pee and go to the bathroom. Something is around here that's got her wired up, and I don't know what it is. But it's just so many things you got to deal with until she either finds it or it leaves or never comes back. But right now, she's on to something. It is cold. So we got stuff below ground. We got moles. We got possum. Kitaka, seriously, you're going to stand here and dig right in front of me. Let's move on with life, can we? Shall we? I know you're a dog and I'm a person, and things that aren't a big deal to dogs are big deals to us. Look at even fences over there. I don't know what is up under here, but evidently something. There's air on it. Air on it. So that's all I have to say about that. Just we'll check back when I let Blitz out and talk about him. Blitz and Sheba are the ones I have left to take care of, let out. So check out, man. This video has been extremely long, but it is upon request. Not a voiceover, but there's no music in. I'm just talking. Something I wasn't planning on doing until later. I'm not a very talkative person. But I can ramble, I can rant, I can go on and on and on and on and on. So I try to be methodical and watch what I say, because ain't no telling what I'll say, once I get going. All right, check back later. And we're back, and this is Blitz, our pocket American bully. I believe fancy's probably more like a standard. I remember what her measurements were. But anyway, Blitz, are UKC registered? Well, they got him registered as American Pit Bull Terrier, but obviously this isn't an American Pit Bull Terrier. Again, more talk about the issues with these registries allowing dogs to not be DNA tested and profiled and just allowing them to be registered, because UKC only recently, I believe in 2013 or 14, one of them started recognizing the American Bully, and they made it, a hassle to go through the process of doing a breed transfer. So a lot of breeders just didn't bother to do it, and still don't. First originally they were saying, we're gonna take away your whole pedigree. Now you just say, well, take away the purple ribbon status of your dog, okay? Which basically means the dog's been bred of this breed for a certain amount of generations. I think it's like 3 or 4 or something like that. And let's follow Blitz around. He's all over the place. He's whew, easier to keep up with him when he's on leash, because he's just all go. He doesn't go anywhere slow. He goes fast. All right, but anyway, this is my show dog. Okay, I've entered him in fun shows where he's won best of show and stuff like that, and there were issues. He's a co-own. That's another thing. ISIS was also a co-own for a temporary period of time. Who else was? I believe those are the only co-owns. Yeah. So I got him from Dragonheart Bullies. I believe her name is. Ooh, I can't remember her name. I want to say Tracy, but no, Tanya. Okay, Tanya Smith. That's where I got him from. All right. They've moved since then, so I'm not sure exactly where they are now. But he is a Dax great grandson on top and bottom. So that's Gotti line. All right. Dax is not a bloodline. It is a dog. That's another issue within this breed is people referring to dogs as a bloodline. You know, you get a dog, I'm not gonna tell you this is Blitz line. Like, no, it's not. A bloodline is a family of dogs bred true to certain traits. A family of dogs. It takes generations to create a family, a lineage, a tree of the same dogs of the same blood with, you know, some outcross. You know, but pretty much all the dogs are related. Okay, closely related. And they all carry the same traits that breed are bred for. Both internal and external. Okay, that is a bloodline. And nobody really actually has a bloodline. Hurricane bloodline was probably the closest thing I've seen to an actual bloodline within this breed. Recently, I almost let the cat out of the bag. But let's just say, possibly keep your eyes peeled for that comeback. Now, anyway, back to Blitz. Blitz is 5 years old. His birthday is December 21st, so he just recently had a birthday. And I have yet to get the female that I had deposited on with Terrier at Hall of Fame Bullies. I have a first pick female that I'm waiting on to be produced so I can get her. So I've been waiting years for that. That was back when we was living in a trailer. I put that deposit down. I believe 17. Yeah, I think it was 17, 18, one of them. It was several years ago at this point. The Blitz, I don't even think Blitz was 2 years old when I did that. Yeah, but anyway, so you put a deposit on, you're trying to get what you want, you may have to wait. Like Terrell says, he has to wait years for his Rottweiler puppy to come from this breeder, for them to figure out how to bring the right product to, you know, the person that dropped the deposit for you. So sometimes you gotta be real patient with getting what it is that you want, or what it is that you need. So I asked him, I showed him on video with the dog. I said, man, what direction do I need to go from here? You know, because he's Dax, and I'm hearing all these things, these issues about Dax and the heart murmurs, and Dax dying like 6 years old or something like that. So I'm like, I'm obviously gonna have to stay away from that direction. He said, yeah, I think you need to take it to a razor's edge bitch. I was like, okay. Let me drop this deposit, man. Just let me know where. Let me get first pick female, and I'm gonna go from there. So this is what I'm waiting on. Look at that, man. They beautiful together. They actually make beautiful puppies together. Beautiful puppies together. Done it twice. This boy does throw himself into his puppies. But yeah, that's what I'm just waiting on. Like I said, I'm waiting on. Right, but I have my eyes on other kennels and stuff, you know. I try to get, but I have a little bit more time, but not too much time. Probably will get some straws on him. You know, COVID said it made things difficult to be able to show him in the ring. I had issues with the paperwork, like I was saying. That's what I was getting to. I was doing fun shows, and ABKC show came up, but I still hadn't had his paperwork. I was still waiting on it, you know. So, from the person I co-owned with. So, I also, again, need to do a pre-transfer for him. Like, it's, man, that whole issue for breeders not wanting to rectify that situation because it complicates breeding, so they can't do because other breeders may not agree to do it, and if the breed paperwork doesn't say the same breed, the breeding just can't go down. So that's it's whew. It's extremely frustrating to know that things could be done the right way, but for whatever reason the community just can't agree to how they should be done, so they just leave the paperwork saying American Pit Bull Terrier just so they can get the breedings done that they want to get done, which just perpetuates the issue, you know. But the mislabeling of breeds, basically what I'm talking about, BSL, you know. It's a BSL issue. These dogs are not pit bulls, they're not American Pit Bull Terriers, which is the only pit bull. But they keep categorized several different breeds as pit bull. Some breeds are mixed, you know, they're mutts, you know, and they bite somebody because they weren't bred for the proper temperament, because neither one of those breeds are supposed to be human aggressive. Not American Bully, not American Pit Bull Terrier. Neither one of them are human aggressive. That is an issue with either how they were bred or how they were raised, how they were treated. It is not a breed specific issue, it is a dog specific issue. So if you're going to have legislation against anything, it should be against a specific dog on a case-by-case basis, the same way we do people. And there may not necessarily be an overt legislation against a certain group of people, but any of us that are intelligent can see that the issues that you see in the black community are the same issues you see with this breed. Where you have discrimination, mistreatment, and killings. You know, they call it euthanization in dogs, but it's killings of animals for no reason other than their appearance. Okay, a truck just went by, hopefully I'll repeat myself. Killings that are taking place for no reason other than the dog's appearance. It looks like a pit bull, so yeah, let's kill it. It bit somebody. Okay, somebody that probably deserved to get bit. Some cases, not so much so. It really was a bad situation. But again, you don't know the whole story of that situation. You don't know if the dog was messed with and pushed to that point to bite somebody, because their natural inclination isn't to do that. They're not naturally aggressive. A dog that is naturally aggressive towards animals is hard to handle, which is the reason why the American Pit Bull Terrier was bred not to be human aggressive, because in order for you to break up the dog fights, you can't have dogs that will bite you as you're trying to do so. So that's why human aggression is a no-no. It's a flaw. It's a flaw. It's a fault in both breeds. It's not something that's bred for. Now, with the specific breeds I'm talking about. Now, if you want to talk about these other breeds, like a Fila, Brasiliano, that's a different story. There's other breeds out there that, you know, that are in the master breeds, and that's why people have an issue with the masters being incorporated into the XL, and they're saying that is the reason why it's causing the issues of dog bites, is because there's too much influence of the mastiff being man biters in the dog. Now, is that going to be in every XL? No, it's not going to be in every XL. Because again, You could breed an aggressive mastiff with a pit bull or bully, and you can have a litter of puppies, and not all of them are going to be human aggressive. You'll have certain traits that get spread out and diverse throughout the whole litter. The breed is not consistent enough to say, oh, XLs are human aggressive. No, maybe certain ones are, but they're not all like that. Okay. Again, you can't blame an entire breed or an entire class based on behavior, misbehavior. Who the heck? Oh, that's the puppies. Puppies sound like grown dogs now. But anyway, you can't have this guy. She ain't in heat. She ain't due till like April. Watch him follow her in the house. Oh no, he ain't gonna follow her. If he wants to stay out, he'll stay out. But anyway, no, I'm talking about you, but I'm not talking to you. What was I saying? Oh, aggressive, human aggression. Okay. You might see a type somewhere where they'll say HA or DA. I'm talking about dog aggression and human aggression. Human aggression is not something that these breeds, that the media and the government are scared of. It is specifically to the person, specifically to that dog, specifically to that owner or trainer that has a dog that way. Okay. And like I said, certain traits are more strong in the same litter in one pup more so than the other. They can come from the same litter and have different traits. One might be human aggressive, the other one may not. The whole other litter, the whole rest of the litter may not be. So it's all about percentages and probability and how much of that is in those traits are in each dog. I know I'm talking all over the place, but this is what happens when I talk. Which is why I don't. Because I can go on and on and on. I bet you this video has probably reached over an hour and I still got one more dog to let out. Which, hey, somebody may enjoy and others may not. You know? Like I said, this video was requested. It isn't done the way that I want it to be done. It's not structured, you know. I wanted to put together a video where, you know, each dog was, you know, showcased with their abilities. I was walk around showing him and have Casimir jumping all over the place, you know, but weight pulling with the other dogs, you know, but wife sleeping, it's just me, and that ain't gonna happen. Anytime soon anyway, till I get some more help. Videographer, stuff like that, you know. Get something real nice and dope put together. So I'll probably have to do this again later on down the line. Tell about these guys are getting big, yo. They're big as Blitz. That's why Blitz goes up there now. He's like, man, you guys are getting bigger than me. Yes, they are bigger than you because you are a pocket. Oh, about pockets, the different classes. Dwarfism, XLs, gigantism. That's what these, just like with people. That's why you see big, that's why you see small. Because you're seeing dwarfism, you're seeing some cases more severe than others, right? Down syndrome, some of these exotics, and which is really sad. Queen, hush, mama. It's a big tail. That's what you're seeing in some of these dogs. As I said, classic and standard are probably the two healthiest classes in the breed, but the least popular, which is crazy. The consumer has dictated what dogs will be bred the most, but the consumer is not educated enough about dogs to dictate that. So I disagree with what's taking place, but breeders will do whatever the consumer says. Consumer says they want this, that's what they're going to make because it sells. And they don't want to have puppies on their yard too long, which I have zero issue with, because they don't, I mean, it's expensive, you know. It's a litter of puppies growing and eating, and they want the dogs off the yard as fast as possible, you know. So they'll breed whatever's going to sell the fastest. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. And it's hurting the breed. That's why you have so many deformities. kennel blindness, and people ignoring faults, and I mean, it's people that's been breeding for decades. And I'll bring up certain things that I've learned, and they're like, "What's that?" Because they just breeding dogs. You know, they don't even know what the fault is. They're just breeding dogs. And that's what they were taught, so I can't blame them for being taught something for so long and, you know, not transitioning to getting online and studying in this new age of information and researching. You know, some of these guys, they don't really do the online thing. They might have a website, but they don't do online. They don't get on social media or go through Google search or even, I guess, grab books and try to find information. It's just like whatever the OG taught them, that's what they go with, and they just keep rocking with it forever. You know, things change, new information comes out, so that isn't the best thing to do. You know, new studies show, new studies find that the whole thing with pyometry and breeding females back to back as to avoid having that issue that could kill them. And people for the longest believing that you're supposed to skip heat cycles so you don't overbreed your female, but they're designed to be bred. They're designed to be bred. And when they aren't, they can develop cysts in their uterus that can cause pyometria and they can die. So if you aren't going to be breeding your female, it behooves you to fix her, or you run that risk. Could take years, but you run that risk. But this is Blitz, y'all. He is, who was he off of? He is off of Heat Wave. I don't know if anybody knows who Heat Wave is, but he is a Heat Wave son. I don't know how I got off on a tangent from talking about his pedigree. It's because I was talking about Dex. But he is a Heat Wave son. So Heat Wave and Cashmere. We live on a busy street. I can't wait to get further out into the country. But Heat Wave son, and he's off of Cashmere, who's Dragonheart Bully's Cashmere. Okay. And that's Cashmere with a C, not a K. I specifically named Cashmere with a K because I'm a history buff and I like knowledge. And Cashmere is actually the original spelling of. When I got Cashmere, her wavy coat made me think of a cashmere sweater, so I started doing some research, and I was like, where does that come from? Let me find out where Cashmere comes from. Then I wound up finding it after this with a K and an I, and it's a place in India. I was like, wow. So that's where Cashmere name came from. And my fingers are freezing. But we are almost through with this video. That is who knows how long, and still we have not had this SD card put into my phone. So hopefully we got enough storage space. Here he goes again. From one point to another, he has to run. So yeah. Whew. Oh, it's gonna be a cold day at training camp. I wonder if it's raining in Dallas. If it rains, we don't have training camp. This is killing me right now. Typically, I would be inside in front of the heater, staying warm while he runs around and does this back and forth from the front yard to the backyard. But since we're making a video, I'm following him around and dealing with this weather. Pups are getting huge. Looking at me sideways. There's Tupio. Hey, mama. Hey, mama. Tupio's a year old. She turned a year this month. Well, I believe the 6th, January 6th. So 6th of the February, she will be 13 months. She's probably 90 pounds. Somewhere around there, 85, 90 pounds. Got some stuff in the works, man. Only this female here, another female Pompeii, which another one of my productions over there at Right Stuff Kennels. Right Stuff Kennels Pompeii is a father now. He has puppies with Right Stuff Kennels Pinky and a female from that. Yeah, I'm about to stock up on females. You know, this whole thing with Kitaka is devastating. It set my kennel back some years. So, to avoid having this issue later on, I'm going to go ahead and get the females that I need. Continue pushing this program forward. Yes. Yes, and there goes Blitz running around. Zipping through the yard. Fits his name. The name was a name that the co-owner, Tanya, I believe her husband, came up with, and I just kept it. I was like, oh, I like it, name. It's cool. I could work with that. I play football, you know, football theme. I don't have an issue with it. So there's going to be representation, obviously, in our kennel as far as names that are of different themes. Kennel is African-centered, but also, you know, I'm of hip-hop culture, sports culture. So things associated with those things will show in the names of the dogs. And, of course, I'm a movie buff, so that's why I have a dog named Falcor over there. Because of the never-ending story. What time is it? It is now 8:26. So we've been out here a couple hours at this. This is every morning I do this. Since I put Ogun and Queen outside, I'm usually done by this time. It used to be done by 10 something, 10:30, 11 o'clock. Took a couple hours off, but today, for some reason, everybody wanted to be out a little bit longer, you know. And that's, you know, that's the prerogative, you know. I just go with it. You know, if I have something to do, then I have to rush it, you know, somewhere to be, have an appointment or something. Or hopefully try to get up like a little bit earlier, which during the wintertime they have been doing, because there's been less evening walks. They have been getting up around 3:30. But today I guess they decided to sleep in a little bit. So I believe they got walks yesterday evening. They get out probably several times a day. You know, oh, she's so pretty. Isn't she pretty? She's a pretty mama. And this is what she does. She goes back and forth. Back and forth. And she works herself out. She gets lean. And she gets muscular. You know, good job. But I got to put hay out there because you turn that into mud. Right? Yeah, you do. And then she gets muddy, you know, and it's just this whole thing. You guys are like, yeah. Yeah, we're transparent over here, you know. The kennels are cleaned daily. Obviously, just aren't cleaned right now because I have yet to get to it. But they will be cleaned, okay? So now there's other breeders out there I know, they have channels or other social media platforms, and they will clean their kennels just so when you see it on video, it looks like that's how it is all the time. But that is not the case. These dogs eat and they defecate. Okay? So you will go to see, you will see poop on the deck, poop on the ground, poop in the grass. Because these dogs go to the bathroom and it'll be there until it gets cleaned up. Like I said, that is a daily process, daily cleaning that has to take place, and you are just seeing it before it is done, okay? For anybody that throws a hissy fit before you do, it will be cleaned, all right? I'm one man doing the work of many, all right? Check back in a minute. So this is Sheba. This is off of Ogun and Kashmir. Bred to Ra, Amun Ra. to get an ultrasound done. She's due. You get checked to see if she took or not. You can see the nipples, so her mammary glands are dropping and showing there. So you can get some athletes out of this. I'm sorry, my bad. Not Brett's Amon-Ra. Brett's a little man. I'm sorry. See, Brett's a little man. Little man in Sheba. Cashmere was bred to Amon-Ra. Sheba is one of our productions, obviously. So you've seen most of our purchases in this video, except for Cashmere. The phone was charging, I didn't have it with me at the time. I think, maybe I did see Cashmere. I don't know. Oh, that's it? That's all you need to do? Okay, well, we're back in the house. All right, well, this is Barry with Hotel Kennels. Guess I'll be signing off. Back out. So, in closing, the goal of my program is to create the best dog. So, that's how I'm going to better the breed, is by creating and focusing on creating the best dog first. Yes, the standard breed type will be incorporated into my program, but not without health being a priority, not without structure being a priority, not without function. All these, come on, girl. We're not coming back outside just to do that. That's not happening. So you're either gonna go back inside or find something else to do, but you're not gonna dig, okay? You're not gonna, check this out. Look, listen. You're not going to dig, okay? That's not what we're doing. You're not gonna do that. So you bark to get back out here to do that, that's not gonna happen. So yeah, find something else to do. Thank you. All right, so anyway, let me flip this camera around, finish what I'm saying. Okay, so I just decided to let Allah's grandmother back out so y'all can get a look at her. Okay? Okay, Cash. Okay, great. Okay, baby girl. Okay. All right. So, like I was saying, yes, we're excited. We're happy. My goal is to create the best dog, okay? And Cashmere brought that functionality and athleticism that was lacking, okay? And she wants to go back inside the house, so we're all good. All right, so I'm gonna flip the camera around. All right, so we're back in the house. So like I was saying, now Blitz wants to go out. Look, guys, I got somewhere to be. I gotta leave in a couple hours, you understand? I get it. You wanna go out, you wanna be out all day long. All right, so anyway, like I was saying, yes, breed type, okay? I'm gonna have it, but I don't wanna have it to the point that it takes away from the ability of the dog to be able to work. So, yes, these dogs will be companions. Yes, these dogs will be dogs that you can utilize for hunting, for activities like sports, different competitions other than show. It'll include show, but not just be for a show. Okay, which a lot of breeders are doing, which is just breeding a dog just to look like this bulky, massive as possible, extreme statue that they put in the show ring. And I'm not saying that there aren't dogs that have that happy medium where they have the breed type and they have the functionality and agility and able to do certain things. They exist, but they don't exist enough. And I want to create more of that, okay? So that is the goal of my my program. Therapy dogs, dogs for veterans, to help them deal with their mental issues. I'm a veteran. I have several mental disorders, ADD, ADHD, bipolar, personality disorder, major depression, anxiety, social anxiety, you know. So know a little bit more about me. That's a little bit of an insight. I'm a shy, antisocial introvert. So that explains why I make videos the way I do. I'm not a people person. I don't like to be around people. I don't like to be around large groups of people. I like to be to myself. I'm a homebody. I like to keep to myself, stay out of trouble, stay out of drama. And the way I know to do that is to be more observant than talkative. Okay? So methodically speaking, that's why I am the way I am. Because I would rather observe. That's why I make videos the way I do. Whereas my wife, on the other hand, is the opposite. She will make videos and she's very quick to think of what to say and how to say it. So, whereas me, you know, I kind of get stuck sometimes, and I'm thinking about what I'm going to say before I say it, as opposed to just, I guess, letting it flow, you know. So, and I can get on a roll and get on a pace and rant about things, but my videos are made based on my personality type because they're made by me. If I get a videographer, that could be different. You know, maybe somebody's asking questions on an interview type style. You know, that's why I was waiting to get to 1,000 subscribers so I can go live and interact with the audience, and they can ask me questions and I can answer them, because I have trouble coming up with something to talk about just at random. You know, I'm just a quiet person, okay, naturally. So, got any bullet points off the top of my head? That is the gist of my program, and why I breed dogs the way I do, why I have the kind of dogs that I have, against you know, popular opinion, I guess you could say. So I know there's people that have criticized my dogs and have issues with my dogs, and said they're too tall, not enough bone, not enough head, not enough girth, not enough mass, aside from Kitaka, I guess. But yeah, they've all been criticized, you know. Maybe not by a lot of people, but I know I specifically talked to one person. And when I showed him pictures of my dogs, he was just like, you know, you take bad pictures, you know, it's just, you know, whatever. I'm not a professional photographer, you know. And I don't have time to sit around here and take 150 photos to try to figure out what's the best picture to take. I take the pictures that I take. It is what it is. And that's that. And that's why I have these videos. That's why I have the YouTube channel, so you can see the dogs for yourself as best you can without actually seeing them in person. Obviously, they're more impressive in person. Everybody that sees them in person is always impressed by them. So it just is what it is. So I want good temperamented dogs, dogs that don't have any issues with children. You know, Fancy was a great example of that. Like my dogs, their demeanor and temperament changes based on the size of the person, you know. So when they see small people, which are children, their response is to calm down. Not to jump on them and knock them over with their massive size, but to be careful, you know. The dogs are intelligent enough to know the difference between, you know, someone they could easily hurt by bumping into them, or someone they can get, you know, a little bit more physical with, like myself. I'm 6'6", 280 plus pounds. So, and they're respectful. They might bump into my legs, you know, a little bit, but they know we can get a little physical with each other, and that's how dogs, you know, communicate. They body check each other. That's what they do. They rub up against each other. They bump each other. It's all part of the process. Oh, go and be quiet. So, again, I'm a very methodical person. I make the videos the way I make them for a reason. The things that are requested, I plan on doing, but at the right time. And I try to appeal to my audience. If my audience asks for a certain type of video, I try to make it if I can. If I'm not in a position to do that at the time, then I'll just make it later. I know there's a pedigree video that was requested a while back, probably last year. I still need to make, but I want to make it without displaying their registration numbers, and it's just a complicated thing where you kind of got to do some type of techie thing where you got the dogs and the pictures and the images of them and where they sit and ranking the family tree and all that. I don't know how to do all that, so when I figure out how to do all that, I'll make that type of video. But until then, I can only verbally explain where these dogs stand in the pedigree without you actually visually being able to see it. Okay? So, and also, you know, I'm just starting out, so I'm trying to make my dogs affordable. You know, $1,500, right? Which, you know, it's gonna hurt me, but I want to make better quality dogs. I want the price I charge not to just reflect the work that I put in, but I want the quality to, you know, justify. And I want better quality dogs to justify my price. And that, you know, little man Kitaka breeding was gonna be up there. It was gonna be about $2 to $3 grand. But I know Cashmere's puppies are, you know, in that price range. You know, so her breedings, you know, range like that. And even her daughters, same thing with Little Man and Sheba. It'll be the same. It'll be $1,500. You know, and as the generations go on, as the, you know, as they improve, you know, because obviously I'm keeping the best. So the best are, you know, have value, you know. They have substance. Right? I'm keeping the substance of pups in the litter that have the structure, right? You know, they gotta have the structure. And I'm observing them as they grow, you know, because they go through different stages, and you may start seeing some structural issues that they grow out of, you know. So you just gotta watch them and judge them accordingly all the way up until, you know, they reach that time. So, this is about an 8-minute video. I have no idea how long all this footage is, but I can only assume that it's going to be probably close to an hour, if not over an hour. And I have been, you know, pretty much rambling off at the mouth. Hopefully you guys get to know me a little bit better, the program a little bit better, what my vision is, my goals are, to incorporate every beneficial attribute and trait into my dogs. I don't want to take away things that are beneficial for them just so they could have the biggest head, the most bone, and the most mass and muscularity. If it's to the point where it sacrifices their ability to be able to run and jump and do certain things, and or it's having some type of internal issues where it's like a respiratory breathing problem, or you know, again, heart murmurs and stuff, you know, something that's hard on the joints, you know, I don't want to do anything that's bad for them just so I can say that I have the biggest dog. You understand? So that's that. My name is Barry with Hotep Kennels. I hope you enjoyed this video. And shout out to the person, I can't remember your name. I would have to, I guess, flash it across the screen for suggesting that I make this type of video. Hopefully it was satisfactory enough for you. Yeah. Peace and blessings.
You guys, I opened the door to take the dogs out, and it's snowing. Please excuse our messy backyard, but look, it's snowing. The first snow of the year. What do you think? What do you think? Whoa.
So Little Man and Cashmere's son, the runt, Little Scrappy, now known as Diesel. One of our productions that is forever home.
Diesel. Diesel. Diesel, are you gonna learn your name ever? Oh. Sorry, I did not mean to scare you.
He's at a great home. Very comfortable. Look at that stance.
I love this video.
Yeah, Cashmere produces some athletes, and now combined with Little Man, no surprise he can do this.
Who else brings their dog with them everywhere they go? Like, I mean everywhere. Because we do. You're so cute. Look at you, bud.
Them ears.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
His ears have been doing, I guess they're not doing it right now. His ears have been doing this thing where, like, this one will go down and that other one will stay up. It's so funny, but. Ooh, you're so good. You're such a good pup. Oh, you're such a good pup. We love him. He's literally a family member. Those eyes, bud. Yeah. Uh-oh. Gross.
Super dog.
Them ears, boy. He watching something.
Mm-hmm.
We have a pretzel beggar. We have a pretzel beggar in the midst. Sit. Good boy. You're so spoiled. You are literally so spoiled. You know it too. Diesel! Diesel, come here, bud. Diesel, come here. Come here. He just got a bath. And he's trying to go back outside. Hi! Hi! Oh my goodness. You're not going back outside. That's where you got muddy. Oh, man, life must be so tough for you. Must be so tough. Diesel. Hi.
He's like, open the door.
You guys, I opened the door to take the
That's
dogs
you
out.
guys. Give y'all a little update on him.
It's snowing. Please excuse our messy backyard. But look, it's snowing. The first snow of the year. What do you think? What do you think?